how to build a $1 million business, get in shape and break a record. So still my action plan that I will use for this year to lose about 8 pounds or 4 kilos of weight in 60 days and break a national record in muscle ups once again. So first of all, during my years studying economics, finance, and then working in finance and entrepreneurship, I was always obsessed about building muscle and getting lean. And of course, this is a very common problem where we just want to focus on training your body, but it's equally important to train the mind. And we live in a pandemic of people being stressed out. This could be due to that our nervous system could be overactive and our parasympathetic nervous system isn't calming you down. So this is kind of the mechanism that the body works. So you train the mind by actually focusing on the nervous system, and the body is the end. You're focusing on training your muscles, right? So how do we combine this together? Well, my story is I used to train different programs such as Arnold's Golden Six, Starting Strength, Wim Hof Method, MMA, Jiu-Jitsu. Basically, you name it, I've done it all. Then when I started my career, I toned down my training towards a minimalistic training style. And of course, that's great, but you also need a sort of a minimalist, holistic approach. So what does that mean then? Well, it might sound like jargon, but again, bear with me. So last year, that was actually my goal when I won 3 medals in calisthenics, as well as then broke a national muscle up record. But then after this, I promised myself that I would focus more on the business side and then less training and bulk up. So that's what I did, but I got a little bit of too much of a sweet tooth, so I got a lot of weight that I stacked on when I was building my business. So that's kind of the goal for this year, is how to balance these two and break a national record and making it look easy. I'm not being cocky here, I'm just trying to think about how can you build this sort of a hybrid lifestyle. So this is kind of the part where people get mostly confused about, because they think for a record break you should be spending all day at the gym, but that's not true at all. You just need to do something like this, which I always stick to, is to train 2 to 3 times per week, push, pull, and the legs. You want to go close reps to failure in 30 to 70% of the 1 rep max range. So this means that you can use bodyweight training on your lunch break, for instance, which I've been doing, and combine it with a little bit of weights. And then you can do only once per week endurance training, which means, of course, cardio, etc. And you only need to go 80% of your maximum heart rate. So those 2 components are very simple, and that's the way, if you do it for long enough, you will start to see results. So that's what I call like my hybrid training style. And then we next have, of course, nutrition side, which most people get wrong. So of course, it doesn't matter how much you train if your nutrition diet isn't on point. So how do I eat? Well, I call it the KISS diet. Keep it simple, stupid. Eat 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram per weight. 1/4 of the plate you put protein, 1/4 you put carbohydrates, and then the rest, the half, is vegetables. So this is what I've been focusing over the years. And then for either building muscle or losing weight, it doesn't really matter if you're focusing on a specific diet. If you want to build muscle, you want to go in a caloric surplus, 2,500 calories versus your burn 2,000 calories. If you're going to go deficit, then you take 500 calories off, and you find the most enjoyable way of doing this. So, of course, that's not all, right? Because like I said, the nervous system, the mind. So that's where the mindset comes in. And here I like to use this sort of SMART rules. And SMART rules means that it should be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. This way you will be focusing on specific goals. So you have like some goal for the week, but you also want to have a larger goal for the year or for the month. because that's super important, right? If you just have like short-term goals, you don't know what vision you're aiming towards. And someone would say that you shouldn't be aiming towards some crazy goal, right? But I think that's super awesome when you have long-term a crazy goal. For instance, the last 5 years I've been doing 9,643 muscle ups to be specific, and that was because my goal was to break a national or even world record. But then on the short term I knew that that's like, what is it, like 43 muscle ups per week? That's nothing. And when you have these SMART goals, then of course you also want to be able to calm down from everything. So at the end of the day, I like to do this deep breathing, 8 deep breaths per day. This way I can actually internalize all my goals the whole day. I can calm down and do a little bit of yoga, etc. So finally, this brings us to the recovery part, and recovery part is then how do we actually recover besides doing this yoga and deep breathing? Well, of course you can sleep, and that's of course one of the parts, but it's also doing, for instance, I like to do cold exposure, so Wim Hof method, right? But a lot of people do Wim Hof method after practicing, but this will actually blunt inflammation and your which is needed for protein synthesis to build muscle. So do cold showers in the morning instead, and at night, like we do here in Finland with our 5 million saunas, we do sauna. And sauna is excellent for recovery, and that's actually during the time when I also do the deep breathing exercises. Yeah, so that's what's up regarding the training part, right? But also we had regarding being productive, right? So you can't just be working out without actually having then the goals in your work, right? Because you want to build that $1 million startup. So productive wise, I like to be focusing on using LLMs, so machine learning AI, right? So ChatGPT for prioritizing tasks. I've seen that about, it makes me about 2.5 times more productive during the day compared to not using AI. And then I actually prioritize my day in 3 parts. So I have the early morning, before the noon, and then the afternoon. And the most important part for me is that I've recognized that during the first 4 hours in a day, that's when I'm actually most productive. So I put everything, no meetings and the phone away for 4 hours, and I really focus on the most important task of the day. And that's actually the way you get to your company as well as to those, well, record-breaking results. So if you enjoyed today's video, of course, hit the like button, comment below if you found this insightful, and yeah, then I will also send my book on how I do all of this stuff. It's a 50-page book on how you can build your hybrid lifestyle, how I've done it myself. Of course, I'm still in the pursuit, and also join the community, which I'll put in the comments as well. Thanks. See you in the next video.